Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are out there in the big wide world. It is Saturday, June 20th, 2026, and I am your host, the DJ Atomica. Today we're going to be diving in once again to A Song of Sunlight, a game that has been well above expectations. It has been a lot longer than I expected. I frankly thought this was going to be a 1 or 2 stream game, but no, this is quite deep, quite extensive. There's a lot of neat story here. When last we left off, we, playing as Aram, had a nasty fall within the well, but we survived. Came back out and had a day off for the Sunlight Festival or the Summer Festival. I forget exactly which one it was. A big festival. Had a really nice day with our friends, and then we cut forward a bit in time to show that the famine has hit our village quite hard and quite quickly. We, taking the role of a wound bearer, this society's version of a soldier or peacekeeper, are responsible for keeping a lid on things as famine starts to, let's say, drive a wedge between people. Currently, it seems like our only best hope is to keep exploring the depths of the well and try and find any information about who used to live here, where these humans are, and... Oh, hello, Flash! Hello, how are you doing today? Thank you for the first time chat, it's good to see you. You're just in time, we are... what are we? A minute? Something into stream? 6 minutes. Well, okay, that's not. If you count the pre-stream buffer, we're 6 minutes in. But you're just in time. We're about to get started for the day. I hope the day is treating you well. Yeah. So our current objective as Aram is to explore the well more, try and find any human beings who we think might be living here. We've gotten reports that there are human beings living down here somewhere. And to find out who used to live here and where they went after famine struck them. Allusions have been made to a exit to the well somewhere. We haven't found that. I personally suspect it's actually the entrance that we came in. I think that we might be the descendants of the society which left the well, which would unfortunately not give us much of a recourse for escaping our own famine, but we'll see. I could be wrong about that. That's purely my speculation. Is a good day so far? That's what we like to hear. I'm happy to hear it. I've been having a good couple of days so far by sheer chance of scheduling. I actually have a fairly long weekend. I usually don't work Thursdays, and then Juneteenth is a federal holiday, so I got off yesterday, Friday as well, and then I've got Saturday and Sunday, so I got a 4-day weekend out of the deal. I'm quite happy about that. So I've been using it to relax, catch up on some shows. Saw the ending of The Amazing Digital Circus. I thought that was really good. So things are doing pretty good on my end as well. And now we're here playing A Song of Sunlight for all of you. All right, now, one thing I do need to check, because it was... Oh, I might have to do that in-game. Interesting. I also watched the ending this morning. Yes, it was quite good. Let's. I'm going to be light on details for the sake of protecting people from spoilers. It's only been out for a day or so, so I think I don't know what the no spoilers obviously, but I don't know what the general consensus is on how long to wait before we can start talking about spoilers. I think like a week or two probably will be enough for anybody who wants to see it. So who knows? Maybe my next stream will be able to talk about details for folks so they had time. Exactly. I will just say, thumbs up from me. I enjoyed it. I'm sad that it's over. I would have watched another season or 2 seasons of that show. It was very good. But in general, I prefer that creators be able to conclude their stories on their own terms rather than having the studio drag it out longer than is warranted. I have lived through that many a times. I think I could name a couple examples off the top of my head, but for the sake of courtesy, let's just leave it at that. All right, so I think if I go in here, that's how I can check to make sure that story mode is still on. All right. Yeah, the problem that we had last time was that, yep, story mode just likes to turn itself off. Controls list. Huh. I didn't know that was available. Why not? Yeah, that's just for the menu. Perfect. But yes, thumbs up. Two thumbs way up for the Amazing Digital Circus. Thought that was a really good show. And I would recommend it. Alright. Now I think... oops, not you. You. Report to sentry duty at the garden when you're ready. Yes, we've already done all these side quests for today. And it is time to report for duty at our post and start heading back into the well. Unsure of what progress we've made in the time that's been skipped between the festival and the famine, or I guess the festival and now. Nothing on this inscription over here. No. One of our compatriots asked us to locate these inscriptions for reasons that, I don't know. She was trying to translate them or assemble a timeline or something like that. I hope we get to hear more about that later. You have that look about you. Tough day at the ration line? The same as always. It's not getting any easier. The looks they give me as I pass by. I honestly prefer sitting here by the well instead. Honestly. Yeah, I mean, like, aside from that first day, there's not really much to do here at the well. I mean, presuming you're not insane like us and going inside like we're not supposed to. Hey, you and Tala, we've let you two volunteer for the Forward Watch for over a month now. I feel terrible about that. I've told you already. We don't want to switch. It's okay. Thank you. I know it's wrong, but with the way things are right now, I don't think I could stomach Forward Watch. I'd put us all in danger. That's fine. You guys are just chilling out here. Tala and I are the ones plumbing the depths. Hello? Oh, okay. Yeah, I had to press a button. I shivered. There was always a draft coming from the well. From up here, it seemed so small. The thought that the space was so vast that wind swept through it. A place with no sky, no sunlight. It was unnerving. I stared down the staircase, sitting by Tala, lost in thought. Eventually, he spoke. Those two from earlier today, at the kiln, they pointed at you. Do you know them? Are they your friends? I looked at Tala, unsure why he was asking. Yeah, I said slowly. Tala nodded, looking off into space. I've been thinking about it, he said. I know you've been lying to me about what's down there. For weeks. I shifted my legs uneasily. Yes, we have been lying to Tala about the fact that we have indeed been encountering enemies down in the well. The well, of course, for reference, being a gigantic underground megastructure, abandoned by some prior civilization, it seems. We think it's humans. Really, no other alternative explanation. It's currently only populated by the machines that they left behind. Some of which are intelligent and conversive, but most of which are just sort of violent towards us. And we've been lying to Tala about that fact. I shifted my legs uneasily. But it doesn't really matter, I guess. I'm your accomplice in all this now. Realistically, there's no way I could tell anybody without implicating myself. There was a moment of silence. Those friends of yours, are they in on this too? Have you told them? Immediately I caught his gaze. Told them? Why in God's name? Are you serious? I spat. No, of course I haven't. Nobody needs to know besides you and I. What will you do, Aram? He said softly. What will you do if they find out? Now I was irritated. Why would he even say something like that? What? I asked, raising my voice. Don't say that. Don't ever say that again. It won't happen. I wouldn't let it happen. All right. Down into the well, I think. We've got a decent amount... Well, no, we don't actually have many points at all. We can still save. And then we can travel. Colony, long bridge, exterior walkway. Irrigated building. Yeah, okay, this is where we encountered you. You've returned. Yeah? Why are you still here? Oh, I think we've heard this dialogue already. Yeah. Another few decades. Yes, and now we can purchase items. Not for this little. Alright, that's fine. We can, nevertheless, make progress. Oh. Okay, it doesn't let me go there. What about here? Yeah, now I can skip that. All good. Alright, we're definitely in regions that are... Okay, let's take that a bit more carefully. Stagger attacks. Hello. Repeated strikes on an enemy will occasionally cause them to stagger. When this occurs, the enemy will fall down and give Aram the opportunity to deal additional damage. During a stagger, repeatedly press A to attack. You'll only have a few seconds before the enemy recovers. There's no need to time your attacks. Simply press the button as fast as you can. Okay, they're saying button mash for this one. Don't gotta tell me twice. Different weapons deal different amounts of stagger damage, with heavier weapons typically dealing more and lighter weapons typically dealing less. Stagger damage is also increased by using weapons within their effective range and during counterattacks. Alright. So I presume lower habitation. Lower habitation. Alright, we're getting... Wow, this is a whole different map area. You've really, like, sequestered this out. Alright, let's see what you've got. Bam. Bam. Alright, not doing too bad. Now that I've got story mode turned back on. Ooh, alright. Inflicting some bleed damage there. Ooh, alright, not bad. I like stagger attacks. I like not having to time my my swings. That's nice. Very cool. And we didn't even lose any health from that. Very cool. Alright, so lower habitation seems, ironically, rather uninhabited. Even by enemies. But we can see doors for what looks like housing units, would be my guess if this is lower habitation. Can we go even further down? Yes, it seems so, but I would really like... a campfire. Oh, hi. Ancestor component. What the fuck are you? God, the creature design is really unnerving in this game. What? Huh. Okay. Whoop. Alright. Nothing fancy. Okay, you are... Oh, I missed that. I think it's probably wise to just take these blocks a little bit early. Ooh, concussion. That's no good. Oh, brutal. That's no good at all. And block that. I got that. Don't lie to me. That is a rather irritating status effect. Is the direction that's getting me? I seem to keep failing on the direction checks. Oh, hey, I think I'm recovered. Cool. Bam. Okay. Not the cleanest battle we've ever had, but we made it out alive. Now we've got a new item. What, green powder. Yes, yes, green powder. Greatly reduces concussion buildup, or instantly cures effects if triggered. What do I currently have on my loadout? Red powder's laceration buildup. Increases physical damage for a few turns in battle. I haven't done any of that. So I'm just gonna keep healing items on hand for these until I have some other need for them. Alright, let's not get lost. Where did I... So, if I go down, that's the other side of this. I don't like the way that you look. Bam. Bam. Dodge that way. Don't want to get too close to the edge of the battle. Alright, we'll take some extra damage there. Bam. Ooh, concussion is no good. I don't like concussion. Alright. I think what this means is that I can just sort of sit here and wait for my concussion to recover, so I don't have to do that again in battle. Ooh, these bigger, staggering enemies really do like to deal concussion damage, don't they? Alright, I think we should be alright. We should be okay. All's well and good. Haha, all's well. That's a fair amount of enemies. If I enter this, will you... Oh, hello. Perfect metal. Very cool. I've got this. If I go out here, what do I find? Oh, even more items. Sharp iron weight. I do not know this item. Heavy iron weight, crudely forged. Increases stagger damage for a few turns in battle. It's consumable, huh? Interesting. Interesting that it would be consumable. I don't know about you, but I don't typically eat big iron weights. Oh, we got a big chamber here. We've also looked like we've got... Okay. Oh, we've got two. All right. Let's... Let's be careful about this. I'm not going to be able to get you all the way down. That's fine. You're gonna... Oh, I thought you would have an attack for me. That's fine. Bam. Bam. Yeah, actually... Oh, I probably should have dodged there. Ooh, we got a rebound and some extra attack. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. I'm going to try and kite you this way. That should give us some extra room. I don't want to knock you out and force us to do this all over again. Because that's not fun for either of us. Alright. More sharp iron weights and more green powder. Yeah, this is definitely the concussion area. Wow. It's a big chamber. This must go down in the other areas as well. Oh, hey, it's one of you. I haven't seen one of you in a while. And bam. And bam. I think we can probably wrap that up. Yes. Oh, I thought those were going to be stairs. Those look like stairs. Alright. And another goodie. Oxidized iron greatsword. Ooh. This must be one of those stagger weapons they tell me about in the rumors. A large, heavy iron blade with excellent force and slashing power. The wear of the material, particularly the rust, however, is evident. Alright. Attack. That's a lot of attack. Range long, weight heavy. Knockback strong. Stamina cost 45. I think I can... Deals extra stagger damage. You know what? Let's give it a whirl. Let's try it out. And then here I'll equip you. Just in case. Alright. Now, it's probably going to feel way different because they're very good about that in this game, is of making the weapons feel very different. Oh, wow. Even... Vengeful lead pendant? Excuse me? Vengeful? A heavy lead pendant inscribed with faded writing. It reminds you of similar ritual pendants found in the settlement, formed and blessed by sunlight maidens. However, what little you can make out of the writing seems more akin to a curse than a blessing. Increases counterattack damage. I don't do counterattacks very often, so... Pull. A door is open somewhere. Nice. Is that this? No. Well, we've opened that door somehow. Whatever door that may be. Okay. I'm wondering if it might be a door that's above or below us. I can go down. Go down here. What if I just, like, slip out this way? Right, this is the bottom of that chamber. Oh, we've got a goodie. Ancestor component, very nice. I'm uncomfortable. Oh, cutscene. I was about to say, I'm uncomfortable by how little we're encountering enemies here. In the center of the room was a strange device. It looked like a small enclosed room of sorts, protruding from the floor and stretching into the ceiling. Huh. Is that an elevator? The door was partially ajar, and I was able to see inside. There were several of what looked to be places for a person to sit. Yeah, like some sort of funicular. And on the back wall, there was a large panel covered with strange symbols. What is this? Whatever this strange device was for, it seemed to be in terrible condition. Pieces of the enclosing walls had fallen away, exposing long metal threads and other components I didn't recognize. The panel itself was also crumbling apart, pieces laying strewn across the small space. Getting even closer, I noticed a small inscription above the doorway. It was more of the writing I had previously seen in the well, the kind that was similar to my own. There were 2 words, and I didn't recognize either. I tried sounding them out quietly. Generation Elevator. Generation Elevator. In front of the device was another panel, raised on a small platform. Yeah, okay, that looks like a power source at least. A generation elevator. What could that be? Do they just, keep building up or down as the generations progress? That would be kind of wild. There were symbols I didn't recognize and what appeared to be a lever. What will happen if I pull it? I scanned the room, listening for the sound of ancestor footsteps echoing through the empty hallways above. Nothing. Letting my curiosity get the best of me, I stepped forward and pulled it back firmly. It gave easily with a resonating metallic click. A moment passed. Nothing happened. This device, it seems important. I can't just walk by it like so many other things I've seen down here. I can't afford to waste time anymore. With how things are progressing back home, I need a breakthrough. I don't like this, but I have someone I can ask. Who are we asking? Whomst? I find the scout in the exact same place I'd left it, rifling through a pile of strange materials and components. It hadn't moved an inch. I stood nearby, waiting expectantly for it to acknowledge me. A long moment passed by, but the scout never drew its focus from its work. Fine. I suppose I'll begin. All right, yeah, no, it's true. I thought you were going to ask one of your friends. I thought you were going to finally involve somebody else, but no. This actually does make more sense. You are the only entity that speaks, or that we've been able to speak to, which knows anything about what this place is or how it works. I'm back. I have a question. Oh. Hello again, boy. Have you reconsidered my offer to study your physiology? No. Don't ask again. Yes. I found something below. It was like a small room with places for people to sit. It was called an elevator. What does that mean? I see, you found it as well. I've come across several just like it in my travels. According to my data, it seems the purpose of these elevators was, at one point, to carry a large quantity of people a great distance. A great distance? Wait, so then, the people that were once here, is that how they left? I have no idea. Perhaps so. Damn it. It wasn't working. God above. That might have been exactly what I was looking for. Oh yes, that particular elevator appears to be completely non-functional. A shame I couldn't study it more. You said you'd seen others? Indeed. That's it then. I just need to find one that's working. Where are the others? Tell me. I could give you coordinates. but something tells me you won't be able to make much use of them. You're right. I don't know what that means. Yes. May I return to work then? Yes. All right. Well, we found at least one elevator. We know that there are elevators around. Generation elevator is the thing that keeps, like, sticking in my mind. Generation elevator. My hands were shaking as I returned to the elevator. I tried throwing the lever a few more times. Nothing. I stepped inside and felt around for anything that might activate the device. Nothing. Dang. It's as the scouts said. It's not working. But this is the first real lead I've had so far. I'll have to continue downwards and look for another. I've already come so far. There can't be much left to explore. If there are several others, at least one must be close by. Righto. That's good news. Oh yeah, we can see, like, symbols of people moving up and down. Very cool. Alright, I think that's probably the end. Oh, nope. We're moving on. Going even further down. A ramp instead of stairs. Interesting. Oh, we are going deep. Oh, it is very dark here. Oh, I've got a bad feeling about this place. Aram, you stopped. Do you also have a bad feeling about this place? I looked around, finding myself standing on a floor that seemed to stretch endlessly in all directions. The towers of the well I'd been traversing for weeks stretched high above me. Is this the bottom? The lowest point? I suppose it had to end eventually. I found myself feeling somewhat relieved. I'll just keep walking. Am I walking? It looks like I am. Okay, so it doesn't go down forever. That's good news. Actually, this is fairly measured. Oh, nope, there's a floor with more light. It might go down further. What is this? It looked to be a hole in the floor, broken open. There was a dim light coming from the opening. It can't be. Yeah, I think this goes down deeper. Oh, boy. Yep. This does indeed go down deeper. Oh, wow. We are really, really far down. But light is a good sign. Might mean there's power down here. Ah, this is the main menu. Ah, okay. I was wondering, because, like, the main menu looked like it was inside the well, but it also had a bunch of light streaming in through the window. So I was like, this doesn't make sense. No, it's an even deeper level of the well where the power is active. This is... A sense of dread came over me. I rushed to the nearest window, looking out at the vast space beyond. Oh boy, it is actually way bigger than what we had already found. That is deeply unfortunate in more ways than one. Long, crossing corridors stretched beyond sight below me. The look of these buildings, the material of the walls, it's different than above. I felt my heart sink as I stared downwards, seeing a familiar inky chasm of darkness swallow the structures as they spiraled endlessly below. The space is entirely disconnected from the one I just left. It keeps going. The well. This horrible place. How deep does it really go? I slumped against the wall, taking deep breaths. My head was swimming with thoughts, overwhelming me. Focus. I need to find an elevator. That's all. Jeez, the architecture is different too. I mean, I think they mentioned that in the cutscene. But oh, here we go. The music as well. It's less horrifying. There's still a somberness to it, but it's more dazzling. I mean, it makes sense. We're in a much brighter and more extravagant area. There is still a sense of wonder here. Alright, what are we at? Oh, we're at 6s all around. Alright, let's, hell, let's go for that. Let's go for more vitality. We can't do both. Alright, let's just get more vitality. And we'll save. Terminal threshold. A terminal? Are we in some kind of transportation hub? I think that's enough for tonight. I need to clear my head if I'm going to move forward. This place. I'll tackle it another day. We leaving? Oh, yeah, okay. We are leaving. I guess I need to leave myself. At a certain point, this place is going to be big enough that we can't get from one end to the other in 2 hours, in the 2 hours that we're supposed to be hiding down here. At a certain point, we're going to have to come up with a better excuse to give us more time down here. Deciding I was done for the night, I slowly began my climb back upwards the way I'd come. I tried to focus on what I'd learned. On the small hope I now had, finding one of the elevators. I tried to keep just that on my mind, and to ignore the creeping dread that I might spend years wandering the empty darkness, never fully grasping just how vast the well truly is. I mean, at least we know there's power down there. That's good. Oh wow, we're all the way back home. The fact that some levels of the well have power is actually probably enormously good news. Not just for finding the elevator, but maybe finding some old machines or data stored. If we can find information, that'll help a lot. Hello? Someone is blasting music, I think. Alright. If we can find any, like, digital information stores down here, it'll probably have a lot more data than can be carved in the face of a stone plinth. Which we've sort of been relying on thus far. And that's all anyone wants to talk about, you know? Whine and moan about how small their ration is. And these are farmers and nurses. Hello, Lordling. Hello, hello. Welcome in. I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday. How are you doing today? We are, surprise, surprise, traversing even deeper in the well. It is so much deeper than we originally thought it was. It turns out the dark, shadowy section that we've been flitting about in before now was just the top level of a structure that goes significantly deeper into the earth. But that new section does have power, it seems. Better now than I was an hour ago. How are you? Well, I'm glad to hear that this has been an hour of improvement. I'm doing pretty good. It's a Saturday afternoon. The weather is nice. I've been fortunate through a fluke of scheduling to have a pretty long weekend off from work, so I'm doing just fine. And now we're playing A Song of Sunlight. The people in the Song of Sunlight, however, are not having a good time. They are experiencing famine. Not that it's a competition, but I'm a potter for God's sake. My ration is as close to low as it gets. I'm winning. It seems unfair, I think. I don't need as much as I get. And we use pottery daily. I don't see how... Oh, come on, Aram. Nice, nice. Yes, no, it was a really nice surprise. It was also really helpful because a lot of people are doing special streaming events this weekend. Ender being just one. Sivari is also doing a 48-hour charity stream over on their channel. So I think you can guess who we're going to be raiding today when we're finished. That is a clear choice. We're going to be heading over to Sivari. I've seen there's almost too many to watch. Especially last night, I was overwhelmed by the number of streams that were running. But that be the way it is sometimes. I don't need the fake humility routine. We have thousands of vases and bowls already. It's not like new ones are in hot demand right now. My obligation is next to worthless. You and I both know that. Sorry. I don't really... It's fine. Don't mention it. I just don't need you worrying about me or feeling sorry for me, okay? Same, I only watch a handful of streamers and all of them were live last night, except you, of course. Yes, yes. Partially, the reason why I stream when I do is because I'm watching other people's streams on other days. You do occasionally get it where just everyone chooses to stream at the exact same time. Just by luck of the draw. You have denser nights. Feeling sorry for me, okay? Prava does enough of that for 10 people already. Yeah, you're right. I understand. I don't. I won't. God above, when did I become such a charity case? I'm fine. Really. I know. Sorry to keep you up. Have a good night. You too. Alright. Can we actually... I wonder if we can pop out. No, we cannot. I do appreciate that at a certain point the game kind of just gives up on trying to come up with differing dialogue for why you can't go through a door. It'll just give you like a string of ellipses. Like, you know what this is supposed to be. I knew things were bad. I knew they were only getting worse. I could tell Qunari was upset. But what can I say? Qunari and I have our unspoken rule, of course. Nothing too serious, nothing too personal. Even so, I'm not good with people. I'm not good at communicating my intentions. That much has become increasingly clear. This is between Qunari and Prava. Things like this have happened before. It always blows over. My best course of action is stay clear. Like I have been. And do the only thing I can. Go to bed. Rest. We don't have enough to level up, but we can save. And we can go to bed. This seems to be the only bed that I can actually go to bed in. That day, like so many since the festival, my body had felt heavy. As if it were carrying me with a pallet of... as if I were carrying with me a pallet of bricks, or perhaps pulling along a vegetable cart. I felt something resting on my shoulders. That it's come to something like this. We knelt, gathered in the courtyard, addressed by the high wound bearers. The speaker shook his head, unsure what he could possibly say that would assuage us. Is a great shame. Just as when the Ashan announced the food shortage to the settlement, I already knew what was coming next. My father hadn't told me outright, but I'd put the pieces together on my own. Other wound-bearers seemed to brace themselves, waiting for the heavy news to shackle their clear conscience like chains. But I was carrying already a weight so great that it bent me double and shorted my breath. I just wanted to get it over with. Each obligation has been assigned a specific reduced ration for the foreseeable future. That is all any member of that obligation may eat in a day. The speaker paused, seeming almost reluctant to continue his explanation. Those of you who are otherwise available during the midday will be assigned to oversee each obligation's ration line. If any person attempts to take more than they are allowed, or steal from another's portion, he took a long breath, you will deter them with any necessary force. There was a low murmur at the implications of this order washed over the many wound-bearers in the courtyard. I watched so many eyes dart to the weapons they were carrying. This order has come from the Ashan, and will be in effect until the famine is considered to no longer present the island any danger. That is all. Tala was somewhere in that crowd, surely thinking about how and when he might be forced to turn his weapon against a hungry apprentice. But there was another set of eyes I was hoping to find. Finally, I saw my father in the crowd, looking grimly at the floor. I wanted him to look and see how the news didn't shake me. To see that I wasn't the same coward who sat in the grass and watched as others died. He was ignoring me, of course. But it didn't matter. As everyone considered the instrument of killing they held at their side with newfound fear, I looked to my own and saw it for the tool it was. The tool that had given me the power to destroy the many obstacles in my path. The tool that would save us from this hunger. This perfect island of ours. I'm not so naive now to not see how fragile the lives we lead truly are. Some symbolism there. This crushing weight. This thing that I feel wrapping its hands around my neck and trying to suffocate me. This weight is proof of that. Was that a dream memory? Because it sounds like that was the moment where the order went out for enforced rationing. Because otherwise it feels like that was kind of already what we had. Tala and I walked side by side down the street. The midday meal was quickly approaching, and lines had already begun to form outside the many workshops of the settlement. The people, forming queues even before the food had been brought, held their heads low. They seemed tired, thin, I thought. Wound-bearers like ourselves stood waiting by the lines to begin their grim work for another day, keeping deliberate distance between themselves and the people they would shortly police. Tala and myself quickly approached the kiln, where we would wait to do the same. I saw him watch the hungry people as we passed, turning his head rapidly, seeming distressed. God above. Things have gotten so much worse, he said solemnly. I gave him a long look. Even compared to last week. This is... He gestured to the lines of people in the street. This is horrible. I simply looked ahead. I said this would happen, Tala. You didn't listen to me. Alright, we don't gotta be a dick about it, Aram. Everyone's miserable. You don't gotta rub it in. I was walking up and down the line when I heard raised voices. It wasn't unusual to hear low chatter from the line as they walked for their ration, but one of the voices I recognized immediately. I turned and spotted Kanari somewhere toward the middle of the line. Prava stood just behind him, looking over his shoulder with a somewhat nervous expression. Who was he talking to? I approached curiously, finally noticing the apprentice Potter he was engaged with. The apprentice made an inarticulate gesture towards Kanari, saying something I couldn't quite make out. I came within earshot to hear the end of Kanari's reply. What is this, General Ed? Kanari chuckled. You walked off. I didn't cut you. The apprentice shook his head, his irritation evident. Like hell you didn't, he spat. That was my spot. I stepped out of line to get my bowl for a fucking minute. You weren't here at all. I saw you walk up and join your little girlfriend in line. Despite the anger in his voice, Kanari seemed amused. Oh, what will you ever do, he said with biting sarcasm. You'll get your food a full 30 seconds later than you would have. Are you sure you won't starve to death? The apprentice took a step forward, his fists clenched. Kanari, Prava chimed in, putting her hand on Kanari's arm. Please, just apologize and we'll move back. She began to push past Kanari, seemingly trying to put herself between the two. But Kanari pushed her back with his free arm, keeping her behind himself. Fuck you, the apprentice spat, now closer than before. I know everything we do at the kiln is all a big fucking joke to you, but believe it or not, whether or not I go hungry for the day is pretty damn important to me. So take something seriously for once in your life, and get out of my fucking way. Kanari seemed somewhat shaken, but the smirk never left his face. I picked up my pace, trying to get closer. After a long moment, Kanari spoke again. You know, it might be good for you to skip a few meals. Have you looked at your reflection recently? It all happened in an instant. The apprentice raised his fist and struck Kanari in the cheek, sending him to the ground. Kanari's cane struck the brick pavement with a ringing hollow sound and flew several feet, landing in a patch of grass. Kanari cried out, landing on his back. Prava yelled out as well, immediately falling to her knees at his side. Instinct took over, and I sprinted towards the apprentice. Tala beat me there, the tip of his spear pressing threateningly into the apprentice's stomach. Out of line. Now, he said. Tala's tone was calm, but his gaze was ferocious. You've lost your ration for the day. The apprentice cursed and spat, storming off. This is fucking favoritism. Does anyone else see this? That cripple is their friend. The system is fucking corrupt all the way to the top. Everyone in the street stopped and stared at the commotion. And there I stood at the very center, my weapon raised. We have an ad coming in 3 minutes, everybody. Brace yourselves for that. Take whatever precautions you need to. I'm going to take a drink of water right now, actually. Surprisingly, all this talk of famine isn't making me very hungry, but it is making me thirsty. Make sure you're hydrating out there, everybody. Stay hydrated. Stay safe. And there I stood at the very center, my weapon raised. I looked at Kanari, feeling around for his cane and unable to stand. Prava called my name, gesturing me over to help. I went. How you doing, Kanari? You seem to be causing trouble during a time when causing trouble is probably quite dangerous. Famine is not known to breed forgiveness in people. The sun had already begun to dip in the sky, and it cast long shadows across the storage room floor. Ow. Kanari winced as Prava rubbed the compress against the dark bruise on his cheek. I'm sorry, she said softly. Does that hurt? Kanari gave a faint smile. As a guy, I'm obligated to say no. But yeah, it hurts like hell. I smiled, glad to see that he was in good spirits. Prava seemed like she wanted to say something, but didn't. Kanari continued. This is the storage room. But it's the storage room of the hospice. I guess that makes sense if we're trying to treat wounds. What a prick. One message was deleted by him. Oh, hello. Two messages were deleted by a moderator. I even saw that one come in. Wow. Good job, Automods. Very good. What a prick. One could say this about bots as well. Hitting a cripple, it's bad luck. I think I read that somewhere. I'm sorry. What for? I should have been there quicker. Could have broken it up. I can't say I'm not flattered that you two care so much for my well-being, but let's not be overly dramatic here. It's just a punch. I'll live. It's not like you broke my other leg, and I'd really be in trouble. Listen. You got really lucky this is all you walked away with. Things could have been so much worse. Yeah, maybe for him. It may look like I was knocked on my ass. But let me tell you, I was preparing one hell of a counterattack. Kanari, I'm being serious. You were goading him on, saying all that stuff. Well, yeah. He was being an ass, so I know what he was doing. What I'm saying is that you can't just... Can't what? You can't just say whatever you want. Especially right now, with how things are going. Everyone is... They're on edge. They're not thinking straight. They're hungry. Yeah, I'm hungry too. Kanari. Sometimes you just... You say things without thinking, and look what happened. So what, you wanted me to just roll over and let that guy walk all over me? I would have done something about it. I don't need you to protect me, Prava. I'm fine. Don't step in like that again. Okay. I'm sorry. No, I think Prava was in the right on that one. Kanari was absolutely being an ass. And if there's one place you never want to be an ass, it's a ration line. Because that shit can turn ugly real fast. I walked briskly down the street, trying to put some distance between myself and the kiln. It's Sakura! Hello, Sakura! Hello, hello, hello! Welcome in! You did make it! How is the day treating you? I hope you're doing well. I hope this lovely Saturday afternoon is indeed lovely for you. How are you doing today? We are playing A Song of Sunlight, which is a delightfully in-depth indie RPG that I got recommended to by Sivari, and I thought it was originally going to be quite a short, brief indie experience, but this has turned out to have some real depth to it. Currently, the village that we're in is undergoing famine, which is not fun. And we are a soldier, which is even less fun. I suppose it's slightly better than starving, but, well, we do have to keep the peace during a famine. Very well, just got back from the Hello Kitty pop-up truck with my partner. Oh, I did not know there was a Hello Kitty pop-up truck. What did they have? What was the truck dispensing? Was it merchandise or food? I suppose it could be both, or either. A pop-up truck makes me think food. Right? Because I don't know a lot of, like, merch trucks. So I'm thinking, my guess is food. Both. Okay. Cookies, macaroons, t-shirts, plushies, pins, and ornaments. Okay, so yeah, I guess t-shirts, plushies, pins, and ornaments. Those are all things that are relatively small. You can transport a lot of those pretty easily. And then you got cookies and macaroons. Which I guess macaroons is a type of cookie. Am I wrong? I don't know. I don't know the taxonomy. I don't know how bakers classify macarons. They look like cookies to me. They feel like cookies to me, but I don't know. They might call it like a wafer or something. You're right. It's the French style. I had to learn too. Yeah. I do really like macarons. The French style, of course. They're a delightful treat, and yeah, very much in keeping in the vibe of Hello Kitty. So did you sample all of the wares, or were you just there for something in particular? Like you came in, you're like, I really want a Hello Kitty T-shirt. Damn the ornaments. I'm here for the shirt. I walked briskly down the street, trying to put some distance between myself and the kiln. Got a little of everything? Okay, yeah. I feel like, that's sort of the expected thing whenever you hit a truck like that. Well, okay, whenever you visit a truck like that, is what I meant to say. You've got it's such a rare kind of thing, we went a bit wild. Yeah, it's a special event. And the things are all so tiny that they're easy to transport, easy to be like, oh yeah, I'll just take one of those little things. Well, of course, now that's how they get you. They have a bunch of little things. For each thing, you can be like, oh, okay, I'll just get a little one of those. I'll just get a little one of those. Then by the end, you spent like $1,000. You got to be careful. You got to keep your wits about you. Things are crazy out here in this world. Nowhere do you need to keep your wits more about you than at a Hello Kitty pop-up truck. I'd left in a hurry after we'd treated Canari's injury. He didn't seem like he was in the mood to talk to me after what he'd said to Prava. I was wondering where Tala had gone when I heard a voice call my name and the sound of footsteps rapidly approaching. I turned to see Prava running up to me, pulling on my minash to get me to stop. Aram, wait, she said, out of breath. She looked anxious. Prava, I said, surprised. Is something wrong? Prava looked over her shoulder, as if waiting to see if somebody would come out of the kiln. Seeming satisfied, she looked back at me, letting go of my minash. I noticed she held her notebook in her offhand, fidgeting with it mindlessly. Aram, this can't go on, she began. Look at what happened today. Canari's behavior, it's putting him in danger. Her expression grew weary. I mean, I can't disagree with her. She speaks no lies here. Canari he's gonna get himself killed if he keeps mouthing off like this during a famine. Good morning, hope you're well. Hello, Kixie. Hello. Welcome in. I hope you were doing well. Last seen playing Kabuto Park again. Okay, so this is 2 streams in a row, I think. You were playing Kabuto Park. You must like it very much. How goes the Bug Battler? How goes it? Finished it. Oh, excellent news. What was your verdict? It sounded interesting. It was 3. Ah, okay. I know you were playing that last time I was streaming, so 2 was all I could verify. What was the ultimate verdict on Kabuto Park? You love it? Fantastic. It was like the I saw some footage of it while you were playing it. It very much did remind me of like the same vibes that you get from Pokemon. Or at least I think you said that it was like just the bug catching portion of Pokemon, like just the early like Viridian Forest kind of area sort of thing. It's relatively short. The catching part can make it longer if you're obsessive. I mean, gotta catch them all, right? Like, how long were we all playing Pokemon as kids, trying to get as many creatures as we could? You are the bug catcher trainer. Yeah. All right. I see how it is. The entire game takes place in Viridian Forest. I like that. I like that idea. And they have shiny bugs? Yeah, no, they're not even hiding their inspirations. They're wearing it on their sleeve at this point. That's very nice. Although, to be fair, 3 streams for you. You stream relatively long streams as far as streamers go. So, like, 3 streams for you might wind up being like, I don't know, 5 to 7 streams for me. I don't think I would get through it as quickly as you did. God, how long was I playing Cyberpunk 2077? It was like half a year I was doing it because I was only playing it once a week for like 3 to 4 hours. But half of my stream is yapping. All right, I'm sure we could calculate the ratios if we wanted, but yeah, still I imagine a shorter game, certainly than Cyberpunk 2077. God, what is the longest game I think I've ever played on stream? It's got to be Cyberpunk, right? Because I played the Dishonored series, but that's a series. That's multiple games. That doesn't count. I think it's like the longest single game that I've played on stream has to be Cyberpunk 2077. I could probably actually check. I could check later. I have all the VODs on my YouTube, so 3 to 4 hours is a great stream time. Some go for 8 to 10 hours every day, and it's hard to be there for every stream. Yeah, that's like, it's sort of like a different attitude, right? I personally, I think 3 hours is like the sweet spot for me, because anything beyond that, and I find myself like looking at the clock, being like, all right, how much longer till I get to 4 hours? I used to do that. I used to try and aim for 4-hour streams, but it just like, it felt unnatural to me. 3 hours felt like a really good natural time chunk for me to dedicate to a stream. And that varies widely from person to person. Like, Jazzmanian, who comes in a chat from time to time, she used to go for like 6 to 8 hours at a time. And she could just knock that out like multiple times a week. She has a constitution that I can frankly only imagine. She can play games and just plow through them. Masterful, but not for me. I can only really survive 3 hours, 4 hours at most if I'm pushing it. I play everything so slow. 3-hour game for others is like 6+ for me. I mean, that just means you're enjoying it. Or you're enjoying the chat interaction. Which is fun. It's part of the point of doing Twitch in the first place. Yeah, it's long enough to do something, short enough to not burn out. Yeah, at least for my current energy levels. Who knows? Maybe that'll change over time. But I tend to think that 3 hours is just sort of a psychologically satisfying amount of time for me to stream. Ideally, I'd like to do 3-hour streams a week. Yeah, I mean, some people even go less. Like, I think it's been a while since I've been hanging around in Dima's chat, but I think she used to go when I just say she used to because I used to be watching her more frequently. When I was watching her, she used to go for like 2.5 hours, but she would stream like basically every like 5 days a week or something like that. So in the aggregate, she would be streaming like 10 hours a week, which is, you know, more than 3 times as much as I stream per week, but each stream would only be about 2 hours. So it's very digestible. I go back and forth on like what the benefits versus the drawbacks are for different stream times. And I think it'll ultimately, like I said, I think it'll come down to the person in question, what fits with their schedule and their style. For me, my schedule, my style, my energy says 3 hours every week. Same time every Saturday. I am nothing if not consistent, even if it's not very long. But yeah, 3 3-hour streams a week is pretty good. That's like I think that's like a solid, digestible, approachable schedule. Her expression grew weary. You wouldn't know this, but a lot of the older guys at the kiln, they don't like Qunari very much. Oh, really? What could have given you that impression? Could it be the fact that one of them literally just socked him in the face in the ration line? I mean, granted, he was instigating, but again, being mouthy in a ration line is probably one of the dumbest things that you can do. Just verbally. I shifted uneasily. You know how it is. He's got a big personality. He's always stirring things up. Yeah, I noticed. But right now, with how things are, I'm afraid, Aram, that something like today will happen again. But this time, he won't just walk away with a bruise. I knew where the conversation was headed. I knew what Prava wanted from me. Please, you need to help me talk some sense into Qunari. If it comes from you too, he might actually listen. I know how Qunari is. He doesn't need a lecture. It won't work. Putting myself in the middle of these two is the last thing I need right now. I tried to think of what I could say that might pacify her. I smiled, recalling my usual response. Sure, Prava. You're right. I'll talk to him, don't worry. Prava gave me a long look, and her eyes narrowed. I don't think she trusts me. I think she knows us well enough to not trust me on this. You won't say anything, will you? You never do. She'd seen right through me. Immediately, I felt ashamed having been so insincere to her face. No, it's not like that. I began. I scrambled to think of something to say. The truth, then. I just don't think he needs... Prava took a step closer, her expression twisting in anger. I can't believe you, Aram. When your best friend is in danger, you really won't lift a finger to do anything about it. I took a step back. Hey, you're making a bigger deal out of this than it is, Prava, I said, somewhat defensive. Qunari's been in worse fights than this. Talking to him about it won't... Prava cut me off, venom in her voice. God's light. You're a bad friend, do you know that? Not just a Qunari. Don't think I don't know you've been lying to me for years. All those times I've come to you sick with worry over him. You never do a thing, and you lie to my face about it. I was stunned into silence by her tirade. Shocked and unsure what I could possibly say in response. Thank you for the shout-out, by the way. Of course. You don't need to thank me for the shout-outs. I am always glad to see you around, and so an auto shout-out you shall receive. It's always good to have you around, Kixie. A long moment passed in silence as Prava glared at me. Nothing to say, she spat. Fine then. Since we're worth so little of your time, I'll do it myself. With that, she turned away from me in an instant and marched back into the kiln. Her sudden anger had caught me completely off guard. I hadn't seen that side of her in a long time. I stood for a moment, wondering if I should go after her. But what would I say? I really made a mess of things. Yeah, you kind of did, Aram. Yeah, you can't just go treating everything like it's the same as always. We're in a famine. You have to make adjustments. I'm not saying be an asshole about it, but the situation is dire. No two ways about it. We're in a famine. You're exploring a giant, ancient megastructure underground. Like, things have changed. A lot of lies going on in this here town. I wonder how deep the lies go. Pun intended. Alright, we're back on the surface. I mean, I suppose I could try and go back. Nope, they're not going to let me. You going to let me go this way? You are, actually. Wow. I expected more ellipses. Alright, well, people are still farming. I guess that's good. We have the tree, and we have the edge of town. That is indeed the wrong way. Alright. We're going to make our journey back to sentry duty and hopefully pick up some side quests on the way, because those generally give us some goodies and some lore, which we like both of those things. Well, I like both of those things. Yes, the town has gotten quite full of soldiers, I would say. What do we have in the brickworks? Nothing there. What about you? Here for barter. Oh, what do we have? What do we have? What do we have? We have 710 memory iron, which is cool. Bricks. Not sure. Oh, we can buy bricks and trade bricks for for other things. Interesting. So I guess the rationale here is that, you know, if you were short one brick, you could just buy one and then buy whatever you want. Though it is a bit funny to think about, like, buying a brick and then immediately giving that brick back to the person you bought it from in exchange for barter for something else that they have in their shop. What is this gas? Fracture protection. That's pretty nice. I do encounter fracture quite a bit. Sandals also give you fracture protection. I don't have anything. Well, what is my current loadout? Sandals. I absolutely know. The Menage doesn't give me anything. I don't even think that... I don't even see sections for stats on that item of clothing. So, yeah. Clothing and sandals we could upgrade, because right now these don't give me any benefit whatsoever. A little bit of defense would probably not go unappreciated. So this gives me some defense, and it protects from fracture. Same with the sandals. I feel like heavy work clothing would probably do us some good. A little bit of defense, a little bit of fracture protection. Might as well put that on now, actually, now that I think about it. Heavy work clothing, sandals, yeah. Heavy work clothing, let's equip that in the slot for plain clothing. Alright, so we've got a little bit of a boost for defense and for anti-fracture. Cool. Arms housing, nothing there. Courier outpost. Oh, you do have an assignment for me. The couriers always have assignments for me. Ah, Aram. Good afternoon. Oh, yes. To you too. What's the matter? Nothing. It's just been a while since someone's greeted me warmly like that. Yes, well, I'm trying my best to keep my spirits high. I don't see any benefit in acting vicious. Not now, when tensions are so high, between obligations already. I see. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry to ask right now, but would you mind running upstairs and bringing me some letters I left there earlier? I'm sorting some now, and I don't want to lose my place. Oh, sure, yes. They're in a stack bound in red twine on one of the shelves. You can't miss it. Hey, we can go up. We can go up. Bound letters. Also got ceramic shards. Hey, we can trade that for medkit, right? I think. Yeah, and up here we've got Holy Messenger's Ring. Holy Messenger, what is this? No. I've lost it. One of the many tales recounted in the sacred texts. Excuse me, of the many tales recounted in the sacred texts, none are quite as mysterious as that of the Holy Messenger. With what little can be pieced together of the damaged manuscript, it is known at one time reverence existed for a divine being, sent by and carrying the word of God, such that it could be spread to his people. The true name of this being, however, has been lost to time. Ooh, stamina recovery rate? That's pretty good. But is that better than what I have now? Enemy item drop rate. Perfect hits deal extra damage. Retain a portion of your lost memory iron upon death. I think... Stamina recovery might legitimately be more useful than perfect hits deal extra damage. Because I don't think I get perfect hits that often. I don't know. Maybe we can tinker with it. That's fine. Hey, here's your letters. You're always very dependable. Helping out even now. Rashim. Yes? About what you said a minute ago. I don't agree. Wound-bearing and the couriers, we haven't had our rations cut much at all. So, it's easy for you or I to expect kindness from others. When people from other obligations treat me poorly, I don't think they're wrong for doing so. What are you saying? I'm saying that I think we deserve the scorn. Some of it, anyway. It's not like you or I decided on the rations, Aram. What have we done wrong? Sorry. I overstepped. Thanks again. It was a blessing. Hey, and we got some paper as well. Barter, yes. What do we have here? Increase energy by 1. I mean, that is significant. Reduces the cost of rolling outside combat. That hasn't really become an issue for me yet, so I'll leave that for now. Alright, we finally got that item that was sitting up there. That's fascinating that there's like a lost messianic myth that the people don't really have concrete memory of anymore. Ceramic shards, yeah. Let me go back to this real quick. The Holy Messenger. It's known at one time reverence existed for a divine being sent by and carrying the word of God, such that it could be spread to his people. The true name of this being, however, has been lost to time. That's really fascinating. It's a curious piece of lore to drop in an item description, though I understand that Souls-likes do like to do that sometimes. Just drop some casual world lore in the item descriptions. But this feels important. It feels like... I don't know, this is going to come back into it at some point. Clothier, nothing here to speak of. I suppose I could see what you have for barter. The helpful wound bearer. Have you kept it up? Lately, I mean. Not so much. I guess nobody really wants my help anymore. Ah. Well, I doubt they don't need any help. They probably just don't want you doing it. A wound bearer. And how do you feel about me? It's nothing personal, but I don't care for you much right now either. Just the way it is. I see. Oh, wow, you have a lot. Well, I mean, you're the clothier. Of course you have a lot of clothes. Red. Warm clothing increases vitality by 1. Resistance by 1. Slightly increases memory iron dropped by enemies. Effect can be stacked. Ooh, that's cool. Oh, we can also get that from sandals, eh? Antique clothing. Traditional set of men's clothing, seemingly from long ago. In your opinion, they're somewhat gaudish, and you'd prefer not to be seen wearing them, especially not by Sajita. So it's a little bit of a, anachronism. Interesting. Traditional set of sandals, seemingly from long ago. In your opinion, they're rather ugly. It would be rather embarrassing to be seen in them, but they provide pretty enormous protection from basically every status effect. That might be worth it, actually. I'm going to purchase some antique sandals. And then maybe I'll just put them on while I'm in the well. The loom. You don't have anything for me today. Ah. Aram. Master Die Maker. Are you well? Oh, please. Don't worry yourself over me, Aram. I've never had much of an appetite to begin with. But I worry about you more than myself. You must be famished, running about all day. I don't deserve to be. My ration was cut, yes, but compared to the others, it hardly changed at all. Worrying about me, it's a waste of time. Aram, none of this is fair. Perhaps your suffering is less than others, but it's suffering nonetheless. Even if you won't worry about yourself, I will. Thank you. She's nice. She's very nice. Always been kind and always had some pretty good stories, some good lore to share as well. Anything for barter from you? Die. Concussion protection. That's a lot of concussion protection, actually. Good to know. Good to know. What is my... Excuse me. What is my current... Gives me plus 10 to a bunch of things. Yeah, I'll just keep that like that. So, a lot of trade-offs to be made in the item gamut, but that's to be expected. I think I would prefer right now to go for moderate protection from a bunch of things rather than a bunch of protection for one specific thing, because we're moving around a lot in the well and encountering a lot of different enemy types. I mean, I suppose we could just constantly be switching out clothes. We certainly could do that. We can change clothes at any time. What about you? Can I enter? I don't think you are Sachita or Mother, so let's just move on. Nope. What about here? You, I believe, are Mother. But no quests for now. Oh, go away. You're breaking the rules. I'm sorry. Anything up here? See, the trouble is I can't remember if we ever have gotten a side quest just from wandering around in this temple. So I forget whether this type of search is futile or not. As it stands right now, it was. No quests in here today. All the better. We've made some pretty major progress in the search for the well, or in the search of the well. So it's probably time to just go back in and see what we can make of it. Oh, we do have a library, though. You might have something for me. Ellipses. Inaya. Oh, sorry. I was just, it doesn't matter. Can I help you? Inaya, your ration. What is it? Aram, please. Let's not talk about it, okay? We can talk about anything else. I don't want to hear an apology or sympathy or whatever. Let's just pretend everything is normal. Okay. Sorry. What did I just say? Anything for barter? Yeah, what do you have for barter? Ink. Increases turn time. That would be really nice. That would be really nice. Oh. My current loadout is fracture protection. Turn time might be... I mean, we seem to be doing all right with turn time so far. I think we're going to be okay. I think we're okay if we skip that. This is the hospice. I don't suspect we have anything. Oh, we might be able to... Oh, it's you again, Aram. Hello, Sita. Do you mind if, could we still barter, maintain our arrangement? Oh, yes, it should still be okay. But, I know I should just go and ask myself, but is Prava alright? I heard the kiln was hit pretty hard by the rationing. They're managing. Upgrade items are... Oh, it's petrified bone. That's what they wanted, right. I don't know where you get petrified bone. It's gotta be somewhere in the well, right? Unless you're selling it. If you're here due to fatigue, I'm sorry, but we can't admit you. The rooms are already full as is. The hunger pains will pass. And all we can advise is that you don't exert yourself more than necessary. After work, go home and go to sleep early. Don't do any extra physical activity. It's not that. I'm just here for barter. I see. Yeah, it's just bandages and powders. Where does one get petrified bone? What a strange question to ask. Armory. I suppose we could upgrade stuff, but... Oh, hey, he's not trying to fight me anymore. This is truly a recession indicator. You're just more barter. Alright, I think I'm good. I'm comfortable with the loadout I have right now. Let's head back in. Side quests are drying up. I suppose that makes sense, given that the public perception of the wound bearers has fallen so precipitously. Nobody really wants us to help out anymore. Alright, time for work. I'll leave you guys be for today. Alright. Delving time. Tala broke the silence first. We'd been sitting for almost a half hour before anything was said. I'd simply been looking at my feet, lost in thought. Hey, that friend of yours, Kanari. I looked up at him. His leg. What happened to it? Was he born that way? The image of Kanari sprawled out on the brick road, his cane laying out of reach as he flailed about, unable to stand. It was seared onto my eyes, filling me with shame. Why wasn't I there faster? No, I said finally. I decided I wasn't in the mood for a conversation. I don't want to talk about it. Tala looked at me curiously, but finally shrugged and leaned back against the wall. That's it? We're heading back in? Oh yeah, we're heading back in. We even spawned right at the new spot. I tried to clear my head, to push out the thoughts of Kanari, the shame I felt. I thought of the vast new space I'd discovered below the floor. Find an elevator. That's it. Focus. Alright, find an elevator. Quest completed, sentry duty. Yeah, sure. That's what we'll call it. completed. I don't even know if there are machines down here. Already? What are you seeing there? Aram? Hello? After crossing the small bridge, I stopped just short of the doorway to the next structure. Just to its left, a small post rose from the ground. It was decorated with strange symbols. A sign, maybe? There were 2 lines of text. Stratum 1345. Oh boy, 1345. That means that... Well, depending on what counts as a stratum, we might be in for a rude awakening on how deep this thing goes. Permitted gene purity, greater than 94.6%. Ah. So there was some eugenics going on here. That's disquieting to discover. I don't have a single idea what it might mean. I do, as the audience, we call this dramatic irony. Wow, yeah, no, this is much nicer than the places above. I wonder if the sections we'd been exploring up until now were just, like, maintenance areas that weren't actually, like, supposed to be habited. I mean, there were habitation areas in them, but I wonder if they were sort of like the equivalent of the back rooms for this stratum. At the very far end of the room was a strange hanging figure. I approached it carefully. It was unmoving. What in the world are you? But I knew already not to trust that alone. As I finally came close enough to see it more clearly, I realized that it was indeed an ancestor. What I assumed to be its head was fixated on me. It followed my motions as I came near, rotating slightly so that it was always facing me. It was limp and seemed almost to be hanging from the ceiling, hanging in front of a great sealed doorway. I stopped what I considered to be a safe distance away and observed. It doesn't seem to have any weapons, no arms or teeth. I took a careful step forward, and immediately it spoke. This stratum has no record of your biometric identity. Present your gene identity card immediately. Its voice echoed through the empty hall. It was both colder and more archaic than the scouts. Another one that can speak. If it's harmless like that scout was, I might get more information. Oh, boy. Man, the creature designs in this game are wild. I really like them. You can speak then, Ancestor. Are you a soldier type? I am not. Whoa, okay, there's a big one behind it. I represent the terminal authority for this stratum. Present me with your gene identity card. I will ask this question 2 more times before I consider you uncooperative. Identity card? I don't have anything like that. I'm looking for humans. Humans that used to live here. Where did they go? Which type of human are you referring to? Present me with your gene identity card. I will ask this question 1 more time before I consider you uncooperative. I already told you, Ancestor. I don't have what you're looking for, okay? Just never mind about the humans. An elevator. Do you know where the nearest one is? There is a single elevator located several dozen strata below this one. Present me with your gene identity card. Stop asking that. I can't help you, whatever it is you want. It's below here? Fine, let me by and I'll be on my way. You are uncooperative. I will be taking your biometric data immediately. Suddenly, there was a blinding flash of light, and I covered my eyes instinctively. When I opened them again, I saw that the Ancestor was much closer than before. It had extended its body so that its head was several inches from my own. Alright, so maybe we did not choose a properly safe distance. I quickly stepped backwards, immediately on an edge. The purity of your archimantic genes are under 3%, it said coldly. You are not qualified for access to even the lowest strata. Furthermore, you are not considered human under the law of partition. I felt my heart begin to race. What are you saying? I said, my instincts telling me that I was in danger. There was a faint sound then. It sounded like metal scraping against stone. I heard it echo all around me as I reached for my weapon. The minimum acceptable gene purity of this stratum is over 94.6%, it continued, inching ever closer. I took another slow step backward. You have committed the crime of trespassing above your permitted living area. Out of the corner of my eyes, I noticed motion. I tore my gaze to the side and saw long metal fingers wrapping around a nearby windowsill. I spun my head around, and saw the same from the doorway at my back. Lithe metal limbs twisted through, wrapping around from outside the structure and scraping long indents into the stone walls with their blade-tipped fingers. My heart dropped, and my stomach twisted as it dawned on me. I was completely surrounded. Your sentence, in accordance with the law of partition, is execution without trial. The words barely registered. I looked side to side rapidly, watching ancestors crawl in from all the openings of the room. They carried weapons of various kinds, cables attached to the back of their heads that seemed to stretch out of sight. I swallowed, hard. My hands were shaking, knees weak, arms were heavy. 3 ancestors, nearly double my standing height, now stood in the room surrounding me. The way I'd come was blocked. I have no choice. Alright, boss battle? It's fight or die. Oh boy, oh boy. I chose the wrong time to pick a new weapon. Alright. Ah. Alright. Get him. Get him. Bam. Alright. I want to get trapped. I'll keep messing that up. Oh, okay. We got a lot of room in here, actually. That's fine. Just take your time. Do it properly. Oh, electrocution. odd feeling about choosing this weapon for this particular context. Ah. Wrong button. That was my bad. Yeah. Stamina is rapidly approaching the point where I need to recharge. Yeah. It's fine. Alright. Alright, a little extra hits in there. Should probably heal, actually. Yeah, heal. Piece by piece, step by step. One at a time. Alright. Then, whoop, alright. Taking some damage, that's fine. Hit him! Close to an edge here. I don't know if the boss battle will let me hit the edge, actually, now that I think about it. I think we can probably, if I would just a little bit more. Haha! First try, not bad. Not bad if I do say so myself. Alright. I was worried. I was worried having the slow, heavy Buster Sword would be a problem, but we did it. Seconds after the final ancestor went down, the echo of scraping mechanical hands and feet returned. I took rapid, shallow breaths, the adrenaline of the fight still coursing through me. Tearing my eyes to the nearby window, I saw the distant shape of dozens of ancestors crawling along the outside of the buildings, rapidly approaching. Do not leave this room. You are to remain until your sentence is fulfilled. I heard the voice of the terminal authority behind me. Realizing this might be my only chance to run, I sprinted for the now clear doorway. I made it to the small exterior walkway between the two buildings in the direction I'd come. My heart was beating out of my chest. Just as I began to dash across the short bridge, the sound of metal scraping against stone echoed above me. I whipped my head around and saw an ancestor perched atop the roof of the building, just above the doorway, waiting in ambush. Comprehending the incoming attack much too late, I tried in desperation to turn around fully and raise my shield. There was a rush of air, and my entire body erupted in pain. An ancestor had thrown itself from the roof directly at me, claws outstretched. That's a lot of red. That's a bad amount of red for us to be encountering. Its center of mass had narrowly missed my body as I turned to avoid it, which was the only thing that kept me from plummeting to my death off the side of a bridge. Its blade-tipped fingers, however, had torn through my clothing, leaving deep gashes along my chest. My menage was ripped clean through, nearly coming apart. I came to my knees hard, an arc of crimson blood spraying from my torso and staining the ground. The ancestor fell rapidly, its torso shattering into pieces as it collided with a staircase dozens of feet below. I cried out. The pain was so great that I could barely keep my eyes open. Oh, that's a lot of blood. That's a lot of blood, not good. We need to leave. But a voice in my head was screaming at me. My own voice. I need to keep running. There are dozens more like the three I barely managed to destroy seconds behind me. I need to run. Just run. Run! Now! In a daze, I managed to stand, holding one arm to the wound of my chest, blood seeping from between my fingers and onto the ground. I felt dizzy. With every ounce of strength I had, I continued my labored sprint back the way I'd come. I ran and climbed. All the while I bled. The sound of mechanical footsteps seemed to always be around the corner. I was certain that if I stopped running for even a second, they would catch me and carry out my sentence. So I kept running and running, until at some point, I realized I'd made it back to the surface passageway. I listened, and the sound of my pursuers had faded. I prayed desperately that I'd lost them. Yeah, another possibility is that, like, now that they're onto me, now that they're chasing me, they might come out of the well and attack the village. I struggled to the top of the staircase where Tala was sat waiting and collapsed to my knees. Tala, I choked out. My head raced, trying to think of what I could possibly say that would explain my current state. I clutched my chest tightly, blood still dripping from between my fingers. Man, you've got claw marks in your chest. There's no hiding this. There's nothing. This isn't like that night before the festival. I can't walk this off. I'm going to die if I don't do anything about it right now. Tala got to his feet, his eyes widening in shock. We've an ad coming in 3 minutes, everybody. Brace yourselves. Aram, he exclaimed, quickly coming to me. What in God's name? With my free hand, I reached into my bag and pulled out my wound kit, throwing it to the ground in front of me. It's not good, Tala. I managed, my voice coming out choked. You have to help me. I've lost a lot of blood. But if you help me... Without another word, he scrambled to pick up my wound kit, reaching for his own as well. He dug through them both, pulling out the supply of gauze we carried. Aram, you need to show me the wound, he said, his voice grim. I lifted my arm and showed him the terrible state of my chest. Long, deep cuts ran across my pectorals, from under my collarbone to just below the ribs. I'm super late, and I feel I'm Troy Barnes from Community walking into the apartment of fire during that one episode. Yeah, no, you've chosen quite a time. Welcome in, Chaotic Crescendo. How are you doing today? What are you doing today? I've been seeing your videos. I've been watching your videos online. Very good. How are things treating you today? We have discovered a substratum of the well, even deeper and even larger than the one that we were already exploring. Seems to be filled with a lot of habitation areas, and also A machine that scanned our gene sequence and said that we are genetically impure and sentenced us to death. Sent a whole bunch of ancestors after us, and we barely escaped with our lives. Uh-oh is right. So apparently, it mentioned archimancy. It mentioned that our archimancy gene potential was like 0.4% or something, like super, super low. So apparently, archimancy was something measurable and genetic. That's interesting to learn. Apparently, the strata of the well were also segregated by archimancy gene potential. Or gene purity, they call it. Archimancy gene purity is what they called it. So, this society has, or was, possessing of quite a number of problems. We also have an ad in about 10 seconds, so brace yourselves for that. Damn, sliming us just because we ain't a gifted kid. Shaking my head. The standards are brutal. No child left behind? Yeah, right. Alright, the ad should be procking in any moment now. There it is. Alright, we'll wait for the ad to finish before we continue. Oh boy. We've gotten ourselves in some kind of mess, haven't we, chat? I think this may be the most dire state we've been in so far. Even counting that time we fell down the well after a bridge went out beneath us, I don't think we were this injured then. I think this might be the worst state we've been in. Alright. Ads should be clear now. My shirt was torn to shreds. Tala went pale and began unwrapping the gauze. Aram, he said, fear in his voice. This won't be enough. Our field wound kits aren't meant for injuries like this. You need stitches and medicine. You need the hospice. He began wrapping the gauze around my chest. I cried out in pain. His words began to dawn on me. If I go to the hospice, it's over. I'll be exposed. Tala could corroborate whatever lie I could come up with, but they'd ask the other sentries too. Fuck. Not like this. Not yet. No, I managed, trying to hide the panic in my voice. I can't. They'll find out. They'll find out, Tala. Just then, another sickening thought occurred to me. My Minash. It's in tatters. I managed to shrug it off my shoulders. My Minash. It's ruined. They'll see it, Tala. I began hyperventilating. Just then, Tala finished a layer of gauze, which was already soaked through. Aram, he said carefully. If you don't get real medical attention soon, you're going to die. Maybe it's time. Time you finally came clean. He put both his hands on my shoulders. Aram, this has gone on long enough, hasn't it? Please, you'll die. With the little strength I had, I shoved him off. Keep your voice down. They'll hear us. How could you even suggest that? If I'm caught, all of this was for nothing. Aram, look at yourself. There's just no way we can handle this alone. You have to go to the hospice. Shut up. It hasn't come to that. Alright, we're being stubborn. The pain, exhaustion, panic were taking hold of me. I've been through all of this. And he wants me to give it all up now? I felt my blood boil. Well, not that much to blood boil, I will say. You're losing quite a bit of it. You won't get a foot outside the door before the other sentries see your clothes. Tala, switch Minashes with me. What? I'll wear yours. That'll never work. How will I explain the torn, bloody menage I'd be wearing? Make a new one. Archimancy. I'm not good enough. You have to do it, please. I'm not much better, Aram. An entire menage? I don't think I could even come You can't be... Fix mine, then. Make a needle and thread. I don't care what you do. Just fucking help me! I shoved my torn, bloody menage into Tala's arms. He stared at it blankly as I came to my feet, shaking. Please, I begged, my voice no more than a whimper. After a long moment, finally, Tala nodded. He shrugged off his own menage and handed it to me. I did my best not to scream as I slowly put it around my shoulders, the motion sending waves of pain across my body. I'll try, Aram, he said weakly. I'll try. And with that, I stumbled out into the night, leaving the 2 sentries in the garden behind without a single word. I heard them call out to me in confusion as I left as quickly as I could manage, but I ignored them. Instead, with every ounce of strength I had left, I went into the settlement and tried to think of a plan. Probably go to the hospice is the plan. Time to go. Thank you for the stream and have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for stopping by, Kixie. Have a good stream as well. Best of luck with whatever you're going to be playing today. And as always, stay true to yourself. Think. Think, Aram. Where can I get the things I need? I tried my best to focus on just that. Dude, we owe Tala like a 7-course meal and a new car. We are asking so much of Tala, and frankly, unreasonably. Look, I get the fear of, like, if I'm outed, they won't let me come back into the well, but also, we have learned so much that I feel like even the Ashan would have to make special exception. I don't know, maybe that's too much optimism on my part, but I think we probably have changed the game a little bit here. Not if I could even use my limited medical training to make use of whatever I managed to find. No. Not find. Steal. I'll have to. As I walked briskly down the darkened streets, I realized how many more peacekeepers were on patrol than usual. I feel like not telling everyone at large makes sense, but I feel like Tala should know. Tala basically does know at this point. Tala, he knows that we've been going down there. He knows that we've been lying to him about the dangers that we're facing down there. And now it's unconcealable. We came to him beaten and bloodied with 3 huge scratch marks. Not even scratch. 3 claw gashes in our chest. Like, Tala knows at this point. It's the famine. They're looking for anyone trying to steal food in the dead of night. Fuck. I quickly came into sight of the hospice itself. There were wound bearers outside the doorway. The hopelessness of the situation began to dawn on me. There's no way. There's no way I could break in, steal the things I need. Not in my condition. I moved on quickly, hiding the shadow of the buildings whenever a hiding in the shadow of the buildings whenever a peacekeeper drew near. The hospice will be the most heavily guarded. Maybe one of the other workshops? They must keep some medicine on hand. They have to. I picked up my pace, getting closer to the settlement's edge. A workshop would come into sight, and quickly I'd notice guards. One after the next. All of them were guarded. Please, not like this. Soon I was running with all I could muster. Oh, God above. The empty fields of the plantation quickly approached. There has to be one. Please. But before I even realized, I had left the settlement behind. We out in the fields. We out by the tree. I realized that my pace had slowed to a walk. In my mind, I was running, but a walk was all my body could manage. So I walked along the dirt path, quietly sobbing. This is really it, isn't it? I have nowhere left to turn. Nothing I can do. A structure came into sight. It was a small shed, one used by the plantation to store tools. I stared at it. I couldn't accomplish anything. I'm worthless. Completely worthless. Tears rolled off my chin and fell into the dirt, mixing with the blood. Suddenly I was very tired. The only thing on my mind was finding somewhere to lie down. This shed. I'll go inside and lie down. I'll close my eyes and... I reached for the curtain, drawing it aside. Aram? Is that Prava? Prava knows. Prava's gonna know. Oh boy, oh boy. My entire body froze. Slowly, I turned around, and the sight of the person behind me made my blood go cold. Standing there was Prava. What are you... She began, but slowly her eyes grew wide in shock as she saw me. Tala's Minash was doing little to obscure my torn and bloody clothing with my arm lifted. Quickly, I tried to drop it and obscure my body, but Prava took a step forward and caught my arm. "Oh my God," she said, going pale. What happened to you?" The exhaustion came in a sudden wave, and I felt light on my feet. I fell to my side and into the shed, landing hard on a pile of baskets. That is not the sound that baskets make, but we'll let it go. We'll let it go for now. I cried out in pain. Prava rushed inside after me, gasping in horror as she saw the state I was in. "Aram!" she screamed. "What happened?" Ooh, that doesn't look good. That does not look good. Prava, I need you to be really cool about some crazy things really fast. I need you to not tell anybody what I am about to tell you. So, there's a giant underground city. Also, I may have broken basically every law and custom that we have. Keep the secret? It's over. It was nothing. I sputtered out. Even hearing the words from my own mouth, I was ashamed. The lengths I'm going to keep this secret. It's going to kill me. Aram. Prava's voice was severe. Tell me what happened to you right now. I shook my head weakly. Nothing, I managed. Prava stood deathly still, staring me down. Aram, if you don't tell me what happened, I'm going to bring Kanari right here, right now. I'll bring Sachita too. I swallowed hard. Perhaps if it had been any other threat. But not that. Somehow she knew the only thing that would force my hand in this situation. Sachita can't know. I have to say it. Suddenly I was talking. I don't remember what I had planned to tell her, but as soon as I began, I couldn't stop. Everything. That day I'd seen Rayash and Kayan die. How I'd gone after Tala into the well, and hadn't stopped going back. Night after night, I'd wandered aimlessly, tearing through ancestors. That, and how I'd found myself in a terrible situation, one that nearly cost me my life on the spot. The fact that the Minash I was wearing wasn't my own, and how I'd arrived at my present condition, bleeding out in a shed, alone. After I'd stopped, Prava went quiet for a long time. Alright, how cool is Prava gonna be? Prava, I said eventually. Please. You have to help me. And suddenly, Prava sprung into action, quickly helping me take off Tala's menage. She examined the state of my gauze and shook her head. There was a soft glow of indigo light, and after a moment she was holding fresh new bandages in her hands. Putting them aside, Prava turned and quickly ran off, leaving me alone in the shed. She returned several minutes later, carrying a bundle of medical supplies under her menage. Where did you... I began to choke out before she cut me off. The kiln, she said quietly. I told the peacekeepers I'd left my mother's precious necklace inside. I lied. I keep a small supply of medicine on hand for accidents. It's nothing like what they have in the hospice, but Prava began to undress my wound, and I had to struggle not to cry out. Emotion brought tears to my eyes. She uncapped a small ceramic jar and held it over me. This is going to hurt. Quickly upturning the jar, she poured what I assumed to be an antiseptic all across my chest. I screamed and felt my body convulse involuntarily. Prava put her hands on me firmly to keep me still. She brought out another small jar, which she motioned for me to drink. For the pain, I gulped it down and almost immediately began to feel my senses dull. Still, the pain was nearly unbearable. I felt myself mesmerized as Prava carefully and deliberately treated my injury. We couldn't have reversed that order there. Yeah, no, really. Why didn't you give us the analgesic before the antiseptic? I don't know. Maybe she was trying to make a point. Maybe emphasize a little bit that this was a really dumb thing for us to do. She pulled a needle and thread from her bundle, went to work stitching my wound. Did it for funsies, did it to make a point. You know. She's probably absolutely furious with us right now. I cannot imagine she's anything but livid as she's patching our wounds. So, like, maybe, maybe a little bit of an alcohol dunk before the painkillers is her relieving stress. I watched her hands closely, so delicately weaving the needle in and out of my skin as if it were effortless. I couldn't help but stare at her offhand, which she made such use of, even despite missing 2 of her fingers. Yeah, I noticed that. I wonder what happened. If there was like a work accident or something? My head felt fuzzy. How do you... I asked. Know how to do this? Prava shook her head, continuing the pace of her work without missing a beat. Aram, she said. You didn't forget, did you? My obligation was medicine. Before, anyway. Oh, she got injured. Her fingers... Something about her fingers getting injured kept her out of medicine? That sucks. With my wound cleaned, stitched, and rebandaged, I finally felt my adrenaline begin to subside. I was breathing easier, sitting upright against the wall. Does every person in his friend group have, like, a physical anomaly? You know, actually, you're right. Sachita has the illness scars. Prava's missing fingers, and Kanari has a bad leg. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And now we've got most of our chest ripped open, so I guess we're part of the crew. Or is that just super common in this world? That's also possible. I mean, like, again, their medicine is not terribly advanced. Despite the fact that they have archimancy, their medical techniques are still fairly, like, they're nowhere near as advanced as our magic. Finally, we fit in. Yay! probably not the way we wanted to fit in. Prava came to her feet, cleaning her hands, and looked down at me. The silence was deafening. I told her everything. What happens now? Help me understand, she said finally. Every night, for weeks, you've been using your post as sentry, as cover. Cover so that you can sneak into the well. I nodded slowly. Why? Her voice was eerily calm. I remembered trying to explain it to Tala. What will it matter if I tell her my reasons? She won't believe me. There were people, I began carefully. Humans that lived in the well, maybe a long time ago. There was a famine, just like ours. Thousands died. Prava narrowed her eyes. I kept talking. But at some point, they left. And they went somewhere better. Somewhere without the hunger. Without ancestors. I sat up straight and looked at her with conviction. A better world, Prava. I gestured with my hands inarticulately, but the pain in my chest caused me to immediately regret it. I've been following their trail, trying to find it, to end this famine. I trailed off. Prava simply stared at me. Then, after a moment, she spoke. So then, you've really seen it? Been inside that place? With all those buildings and empty rooms, going on and on for as far as you can see. Prava's seen the inside of the well. Oh. All right. Now this raises a question. How many insert Spider-Man mean pointing? Actually, that might be in poor taste with Prava. So this raises a question. How many people have seen the inside of the well and just not said anything about it? Because now we know there's at least 2. Time seemed to slow down. I felt a chill go over my entire body. Wait. What? Why would she... How could she know? Prava, I sputtered out, trying to keep my voice calm. I didn't say anything about what it looked like. How do you know that? Prava froze. Her eyes darted around. It's just rumors, Aram, she said. I hear a lot of them. Can that really be it? Just rumors? She's an ancestor. Get her, Tackles. No. We would probably just fall in half if we tried to do that. But who knows? Maybe it's like the Cylons. Maybe the ancestors can look like us. Maybe we are the ancestors all along. That's actually my theory. I think we are the descendants of the people who left the well. I think the better world they went to is the one that we're currently living in. How would anyone know what the well looks like? The ancestors are the friends we made along the way. Maybe that's what's in the well. The One Piece. Prava considered me for a moment. Suddenly her calm demeanor seemed to break, and it looked like something occurred to her. Aram, she said, her voice severe. You've broken the island's law. What will they do to you if they find out? I grimaced and shook my head. She's a part of this now. Will she want me to turn myself in? I need to get out ahead of it. I've already given you my reasons, Prava. I'm doing this for everyone. I'm not putting anyone else in danger. It's just me. So, I swallowed hard. Please, Prava. You can't tell anyone. Not Kanari, not Sachita. I didn't want you or anyone else to know. I stopped and let my words hang. After an agonizingly long moment, Prava tilted her head and broke the silence. Okay, she said, a sudden calm overtaking her tone. I'll keep your secret, Aram. Immediately, I felt relief wash over me. Really? That was all it took? After being certain that everything I'd worked so hard for had fallen apart completely, the hope that I would be able to proceed with my mission was returning to me. But, she continued, it won't be free. Prava, I said timidly. I realized then how little of her I could actually see. She was a silhouette, a light of the stars casting her face in shadow. I heard only her voice, and it was a voice I'd never heard her use before. Maybe this is selfish. But I suppose I honestly don't care what it is you've been doing down there. I don't care who you're doing it for or why. I care about one thing, Aram. One person. Him. Kanari. I love him, Aram. I love him so much that I would die for him. So we'll make a deal. I'll keep your secret. I'll even continue to treat your wound. And I won't say anything about what happened tonight either. But in exchange, when I ask you to do something for me, you listen to me. When I ask you to talk to Kanari, you do exactly as I say, and you don't ask questions. I was almost too stunned to speak. I opened my mouth to respond, but she kept talking. Uh-oh. Look, this is a bit stinky. So this is kind of the culmination of a conflict between us and Prava that has been building for a little while now. Prava keeps getting more and more worried about Kanari, and she keeps asking us to talk to him about it, and we keep refusing. And she keeps getting angrier and angrier about it, though she's not letting on, or at least she hasn't until now. This is her essentially forcing our hand, saying like, hey, I've been asking you to talk to Kanari about his, self-endangering behavior, and this is the price. I opened my mouth to respond, but she kept talking. And if you refuse, well, you can imagine, Aram. My heart was pounding. I wasn't sure I recognized the person standing over me. The cold way she spoke. The malice in her tone. Is this really Prava? She's joking, right? That's it. It must be a joke. Prava, stop messing around, I started. She raised her hand to silence me. The words caught in my throat. Are we clear? She said, her voice like ice water. I tried to think of something. Anything I could say. In this situation, she had all the leverage, all the power. She could find the nearest peacekeeper and turn me over in minutes. Would she do that? Strangely, I thought then about the terminal ancestors. That feeling of being surrounded, trapped. The knowledge that if I made a single mistake, I would die. Even with that terrible memory so fresh in my mind, I'd never felt more helpless than I did in front of Prava at that moment. That's cool art. Unfortunately, I can't see it very easily on my screen because something's going on with the gamma between there and OBS, as it has been for the past few weeks, but luckily I can look at the OBS window and see the art in its full glory. As the girl I'd known for more than a decade held a secret over my head that could ruin my life. I nodded, terrified, and said nothing more. Well, now what? Save. Uh-oh. Save and continue. Methinks we might have another chapter coming. They're holding hands, she thought. A girl sat crouched on the sidewalk outside her home. Head resting on her knees, she looked with fascination down the street. A young boy and his mother here, a daughter and her father just there. Hand in hand they walked, as if compelled not to let them go. They would walk along the street and then disappear from sight. All the while, still holding their hands clasped tightly. What had those children done to earn it? To earn such a reward? The girl shut her eyes and opened them again slowly. She shifted her weight and felt her stomach ache with hunger. She focused her thoughts on that discomfort as it passed over her. It hurts. I feel dizzy. All the while, child and parent passed her by, giving only the slightest of glances in her direction. How many meals had she tossed aside, the girl wondered? The last 5 or 6, maybe? That should be enough. Enough to make up for it. Standing slowly and dusting herself off, the girl looked up and behind at the second-story window of her home. It's time. She'll want me back now. Prava, dear, are you listening? Write it down, like I told you to. The girl sat at a small desk, her mother kneeling behind her and watching over her shoulder intently. Not sure I care for the ominous aura emanating from this mother. There was an open book in front of her, and the girl scratched away with a charcoal stick. The page was nearly full already, with intricate sketches of bones and tissue. Notes about their function littering the margins. What had her mother said? The girl wasn't sure, but she started writing on instinct anyway. When she was finished, her mother looked it over and nodded, smiling. That's right, dear. She put her hand on top of the girl's head and rubbed it gently. This part of the lesson the girl always looked forward to. Oh, Prava, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of how well you listen. Your sisters, don't you know? They only pretend to listen. The girl nodded, knowing that was the right response. It didn't take them far. Remember, Prava, they couldn't do it when the time came. Having 2 daughters break the obligation. She felt her mother's hand tighten on her head. But you... Her words softened. You're special. You're my light. Don't you know? The girl shook her head. She knew it would keep her mother talking. You're my favorite, Prava. You've always been my favorite. The girl felt her hands tremble, wishing she could hear that again. She repeated her mother's words to herself. Over and over in her head, she continued her lesson. Perhaps it distracted her. Perhaps her pen slipped. But at some point, she wasn't writing the correct words. Prava. That was all it took. Her mother's voice was different now. Prava, what are you doing? The tenderness had gone. Look at this. I told you exactly what to write, you dense girl. The girl's mother grasped her writing hand and pushed it hard against the table to stop her. It hurt. Scratch it out and start again. The girl cursed herself for having been so distracted by the praise. The lesson had been tainted. All the girl could hope was that if she made no further mistakes, the rain might clear, and she would feel her mother's sunlight once more. I'll skip my next meal, too. That will forgive this. So the girl put her head down and kept writing. In those first years of general education, the girl thought often about the time spent living with her mother. when she felt alone, now amongst so many strange children. She thought of warm memories they shared. When she did well, and everything aligned, those evenings after her lessons, if her mood was right, her mother might brush her hair. The girl tried her hardest to prove that she was capable, to prove that she could take her mother's obligation of medicine like she wanted. But she had a growing fear that when that day came, she would be deemed unfit. When she thought about what her mother would say, her old habits came easily, pretending to eat her meals and throwing them away when backs were turned. With time, even the warm memories lost their color. This afternoon, children, her lecturer had said one day, you will be permitted to see your birth parents. They've been asked to come to the Lyceum, and you may spend time with them until sunset. Huh. Did we know that already? Did we know that people didn't get to normally know their birth parents? That seems strange. I don't know. Did we see that? Did we see that already? We might have. I have a vague sense that might have been alluded to at some point, but maybe not. So many children had been ecstatic, running off to wait by the archway where they were to meet. I don't remember that, but it could be. Yeah, no, or maybe I'm misinterpreting. Maybe it's just that as soon as they enter general education, they're sort of like at a boarding school or whatever, and like the lecturers or the elders become treated as parents, something like that. I don't know. There could be like a cultural thing going on here. They were eager like children. They were eager like children only were to finally see their parents again after so long spent apart. No, I don't think that sentence makes sense. I don't know what this was supposed to be. They were eager like children, only were to finally see their parents again after so long spent apart. Okay, I think I vaguely get what they're saying there, but that was a weird sentence. As the sun dipped in the sky and bathed the courtyard in orange, the girl sat, hugging her knees, hiding. Somehow, in some way, she thought she might be relieved if her mother didn't come. So she hid, intending to wait until dark. But soon she heard voices and footsteps. She was afraid. Had they noticed she was missing? Had they come to take her? Instead, she saw two boys standing in front of her. Both seemed younger. Without reproach, they came to where the girl sat and said their names. The taller boy was Aram, and the shorter, Kanari. The girl had seldom been approached by the other children, so she didn't know what to do. She couldn't even say her name back. But nonetheless, the shorter of the two put out his hand to the girl. Our parents are going to be late. Do you want to come play with us? All at once, she recalled the sight of parent and child walking hand in hand down the street that day. And it compelled her. It compelled her without really knowing why, to take his hand. I love how we're getting this deep Prava backstory where Aram's near-death health bar is haunting us. Oh, yeah, down in the bottom. Oh. That's deeply unfortunate. Look, okay. So we've got backstory on Prava, and probably also why Prava fell for Kanari. Are you listening to me? Sachita's irritated voice snapped me back to attention. I was being so nice, teaching you how to do this, and you're... Look at this, I can't believe it. Are you sleeping right now? It was midday, and the two of us were sitting at a small table in one of the temple's many back rooms. Back rooms? Uh-oh. My head had slowly been sinking into my arms over the span of an hour, and I realized that I'd been nodding off for a moment. I'm sorry. I groaned, sitting upright again. The motion of it tugged at my stitches, and I felt a flash of pain. I'm listening. Oh, okay, we're back in the present. Sachita is trying to teach us archimancy, it seems. Or teach us something. Sachita seemed skeptical, narrowing her eyes. I was listening, I admitted, embarrassed. I'm exhausted. Sachita laughed. Did you stay up late? She asked, putting a finger on her chin as if deep in thought. I thought about my response. It's more like I've been pushing myself for weeks, and it finally caught up to me. Sachita crossed her arms indignantly. Well, I'd say your behavior is the presence of a sunlight maiden. In the presence of a sunlight maiden is borderline heresy, she said. She looked aside thoughtfully, tapping her fingers against her upper arm. Yes, indeed, I think I read somewhere that it's a sin, too. Oh, yes, that sounds right. I tried to laugh, but I coughed instead and my chest ached. I rubbed my eyes. I'm sorry. Start over, really. I want to learn this, I said. I'm thinking archimancy. You know, Aram, as much as I enjoy giving you supplementary education in basic life skills, I have to admit, I'm curious as to why you're only asking me now. I could have given you some archimancy tips any time if you'd just asked. Okay, it is archimancy. So I wonder what the play is here. Is he like trying to learn archimancy so that he can get past the sentries? Or get past the like genome check or something? I don't know. It's all I do, you know. You've seen how bad I am. Just recently, I found myself in a situation where having those skills might have really made my life easier. He didn't put enough skill points into Magicka? No. In fact, he is, I think, canonically so far, the worst person in this entire society at archimancy. Like, he is genuinely very bad at it. And if the gene scan is anything to go by, part of that might not be his fault. I felt self-consciously at the tatters and imperfections of the menage I was wearing. Markings that constantly threatened to reveal it wasn't my own. If my archimancy had been better that night, well, so many things might have been avoided. Are we gonna finally learn magic? It made me realize how far behind I've fallen. Well, when's the last time you practiced? Seriously practiced? I don't know, maybe a year? God above. Well, don't worry too much. You can get pretty far with just knowing a few basic materials well enough. I'm sure I can whip you into shape enough for that. You asked about cloth, right? I'm in your hands. Alright, are we gonna get to learn? We, the audience? Kind of, more or less. Okay, well, we can see here depicted in the image the sort of skill gap that exists in terms of archimancy between us and Sachita. Sachita is making all manner of very pristine... Look, there's even stuff down at her side on the floor like it's overflowing the table. She's just whipping them out. And then we have made what appears to be a pile of burnt hot dog ashes, one after another. So we don't appear to be on the same level, which to an extent is to be expected, given that we're effectively beginners. We passed the remainder of the hour as a makeshift lecturer and student. Sachita tried her best at first to teach me the basic physical properties of cloth. But when numbers were involved, I found it rather difficult to absorb the information. However, we have amazing posture for somebody who's barely holding their intestines in. Yeah, I don't know how long it's been since that night. It might be like a couple days, or maybe like a week. I mean, it can't actually be that long. Because we would have been expected to go back to work, right? I don't know, maybe he just like refrained from going into the well for a little while until he healed up to the point where he could go back in. Maybe he's being a little more cautious now. Though that doesn't sound like him. But when numbers were involved, I found it rather difficult to absorb the information. At a certain point, she gave up explaining and resorted to a visual demonstration. That took me somewhat further, but quickly the limits of my muscle memory became apparent. By the time she gave up altogether, there was a small mountain of cloth by Sachita's knees. By my own feet was a small pile of string, dust, and one piece of textile that might have been cloth if you squinted. As always, Sachita found my pathetic attempts at archimancy endlessly amusing. She's a real one. Listen, you can't do better than this, Aram. You cannot do better. You gotta lock that down as quickly as you possibly can. It wasn't much, but it was progress. I looked at the sky and realized my shift at the kiln was quickly approaching. I remembered the other reason I'd come to see Sachita that day. Hey, Sachi. Prava. Lately she's... Do you think... Would you say that she treats Kanari like a child? I wouldn't say that. She's, well... She cares about him. A lot. She's a little possessive of him, maybe. I've always thought it was mostly harmless. I don't know. Well, Aram, I do know a great way you could find out. Yeah. Seriously, why don't you just ask Kanari if it bothers him? But oh, that's right. The two of you wouldn't dare broach such a personal topic. We talk about plenty of things. Listen, it's not about him. I'm worried about Prava. Oh? Sometimes with him, she's just relentless. And lately, I think especially, she's been taking it too far. Well, she's still holding on to a lot, you know. She probably still feels guilty, even after all this time. Do you really think so? All that was such a long time ago. Oh, I wonder if their injuries are related. I wonder if Prava's missing fingers and Kanari's wounded leg might have been the result of the same incident. That would certainly contribute to her possessiveness of him. How could she still be... You're closer with her than I am. Have you asked her? Would you? Well, you have me there. I do try, but she'll never talk to me about Kanari. It's like off limits or something. I see. It might have to be us. The conversation slowly came to a close, and eventually I stood and gathered my things to leave. I began to wave goodbye, but saw that Sachita was still sitting. What do you have planned for the rest of today? I asked, curious. Sachita gave an apathetic smile. Well, today it seems it's fallen on me to clean the maiden's quarters. The whole thing. I was surprised. Just you? That seems like a lot of work. How did that happen? Sachita looked off to the side, and gave the faintest of laughs, her smile fading. Sometimes the other girls hide the ledger from me so I can't sign up for any cleaning. They think it's quite funny when I'm stuck doing the work of a dozen people in one afternoon. Sachita's tone was weary, almost defeated. Everyone here is on edge lately, so I can't say I'm surprised that I'm on the receiving end. I felt my anger stir. That's not fair. I'll stay and help, I said, moving as if to put my belongings down again. Sachita smiled. No, you won't. You have work. I grimaced. She wasn't wrong. I couldn't stay. You're sweet, but it's just cleaning. I'll finish it eventually. Sachita stood and walked up to me. Thank you. Now get lost. She put her arms around my chest. Ooh, very, very sweet of you, Sachita, but very poorly timed. You could not know this. This is not your fault, but ow. Boys aren't allowed here. We embraced for a short moment before she let me go, turning with a wave over her shoulder. It hurt. Insert Tom and Jerry scream. I'm not even going to try to replicate it. I cannot do the Tom and Jerry scream. But God, it is iconic. I should have that as a soundboard. I don't know. That might be fun. Tom and Jerry scream soundboard. I saw her out of the corner of my eye. Prava was at Kanari's side, as always. They stood close in line, speaking quietly. It seemed to be one-sided. Prava was speaking and Kanari was nodding along. All the while, his expression was weary, his eyes downcast. Quickly, she noticed me and turned her head. For a moment, I thought about looking away, but the instinct to do so made me feel ashamed. It's Prava. She's my friend. Why am I afraid? I met her eyes. The look she gave me sent shivers across my body. It was the same cold look she'd given me that night. She wants to talk. I could only hold her gaze for so long, and soon I'd resumed my march up and down the file. Hello? Are you even listening? Pay attention. Prava's voice was stern. I'm listening, I responded coldly. The midday meal had hardly ended when Prava pulled me aside. She'd taken me around the back of the kiln to a somewhat secluded corner. Then you'll agree with me, she continued. I crossed my arms. So he wants to pull some sort of joke? I asked. What does it matter? Prava scowled. He wants revenge, Aram, she said, irritated. Revenge on that apprentice who hit him. He's told me all these elaborate plans to do something cruel. Yeah, no, I think I do have to agree with Prava here. That's going to make things way worse, and it's probably not a behavior you want to encourage anyway. She shook her head. Obviously, this is a bad idea. I've already said, at the kiln, Kanari isn't well liked. And after the other day, the older guys have been making comments and pushing him around. I've seen it. Prava sounded so certain in her words. But I know what she is like. She must be exaggerating. It can't be as bad as she says. I need you to dissuade him, Aram, she continued. Why would Aram... That seems like such a messed up thing for Aram to say. She must be exaggerating. It can't be as bad as she says. You know there's a famine on, right? Like... Convince him that this is a bad idea. He'll listen if it's you. She hesitated. I've already tried. Are we really past the point of working this out? I wasn't in the right place to justify it that night. I can make her understand. Make her stop this. Prava, just listen to me for a minute. I said earnestly. The only reason any of this has happened is because of the famine, right? Prava narrowed her eyes. You said it yourself. And, like, how am I even supposed to explain how we know about his plan? Yeah, really, like, it would I mean, maybe we could, like, try and, like, tease it out of him. Or, hell, maybe Qunari might be, loose-lipped enough to just volunteer the information on his own. Like, I'd believe that. I would believe that Qunari just tells us about his prank plans. So, I don't know. Maybe we already know. You said it yourself. People are hungry. They're on edge. Prava began to speak, trying to cut me off. Aram, she said, her voice building in intensity. I pushed ahead. That's the reason I'm doing what I'm doing, Prava. To stop this. All of this. When I find the better world, all of it will go away. No more rationing. No more fighting. No more... Prava took a step forward. Enough. Her voice was like ice water. Immediately, my mind went blank. That minash you're wearing, Aram, she said. I don't think anybody needs to know that it's not yours. Do you? I swallowed hard. Oh, God. Who is this person? This isn't Prava. It can't be. This person is extorting me. My hands are completely tied. Slowly, I shook my head. Now run along, she said. Do it today. I'll know if you didn't. And, it should go without saying, he's never to find out I sent you. And without another word, she left me behind the building. This does look like it's getting a bit thorny. I don't know how long we can sustain this. I found him in the storage room, stocking shelves. My heart was pounding. How do I make this natural? Yeah, exactly. That's... Maybe we could just be like, hey, Qunari, thinking of any pranks lately? That might be a bit too forward. Sachita was right. Qunari and I don't have these kinds of conversations. Will he know she sent me? I stopped through the doorway, pushing aside the curtain. Qunari turned around and gave me a wave. How are we gonna do this? Hey, Oh, Aram, good. I thought you'd already taken off. Get this. I've been working on something. Yeah, no, see, this is what I was saying. I think he's just gonna straight up tell us. I think he's just gonna tell us his plan, and we won't have to worry about making it sound natural. Also, we have an ad in 3 minutes, everybody. Brace yourselves. Buckle up. Take precautions. Something funny. Oh, it's gonna be great. That prick. The asshole that punched me in the face. I figured I'd get a little payback, you know? Khan. There's this one idea I'm kicking around. I'm thinking I'll stay late one afternoon and, like, steal his things. You know, his apron, tools, whatever. Khan, hold on. And I'll hide them around the kiln. In, I don't know, all sorts of places. You know, real hard-to-reach spots. Qunari. What? Don't worry, man. I've worked you in as well. You'll run lookout and help me think of the funniest place to hide things. It'll be just like old times, yeah? You shouldn't do it. What? Are you serious? It's just... I don't know. Maybe hold off. Now isn't such a good time, right? No. Now is a great time, actually. It couldn't be better. Qunari, I gotta be honest, as pranks go, this one kind of blows. Yeah, really, you've been, like, turning this over in your head and, like, this is the best plan you can come up with? Steal his items and hide them around the kiln? He works in the kiln. Like, that's not even that much of an inconvenience. As a prankster, this is not fine work. I've got to say. Like, I don't know. Resources are limited, granted. You might not be able to swing a bigger or, like, more elaborate prank than that, but... Really? It couldn't be better. Imagine how funny it'll be watching him frantically search the place like an idiot, all red in the face. Like, my things are in a slightly different place. Ooh, you got me. Isn't the person, like, taller than Qunari as well? So it's like, you wouldn't even be able to reach some places to hide it that he could get to. Yeah, I'm just saying. If you do something like that, won't it just make things worse between you two? And, you know, it could cause a big disruption. The other apprentices might be pissed at you. Godslight, you sound just like Prava. It's not that big a deal. Sure, maybe we're 2 vases short for the day. Who cares? It's pottery. There's plenty of it. Alright, Qunari not taking this very seriously, as is his way. An ad should be brocking in mere moments, mere seconds. There it is. Alright. Oh, boy. Qunari is gonna get himself in so much trouble. That man has the self-preservation instinct of a goldfish. Or maybe he's just got a chip on his shoulder. Who knows? Point is, Qunari's not making good decisions right now. I mean, it's debatable if Qunari ever made good decisions. He's not a terribly forward-thinking fellow, but this feels particularly boneheaded given the social context. This isn't going well. What can I say? Khan looked out a nearby window. From the storage room, there was a clear view of the plantation, stretching towards the sea. The sun was beginning to dip, and there were apprentice farmers out working the soil. Their silhouettes were dark against the horizon. You know, Aram, Qunari's voice softened. It's good that you like your obligation. You get to run around doing, I don't know, God knows what. But you come home feeling like you did something that day. Like those hours you spent working actually contributed towards something. He chuckled. Not everyone's that lucky. Not me. With this shit leg of mine. Qunari tapped his cane lightly against his heel. They stuck me here because it was all I was good for, you know? And that's fine. I don't blame them. They did it to make the most use out of me. It made perfect, logical sense. I saw the corners of his mouth twist into a smile, but then it was gone. So no, I don't care if everyone here hates me. Finally, he turned around to look at me. I'm a pain in the ass. Everyone feels that way already. It's a bad idea, Khan. You shouldn't do it. Please don't do it. Okay, then. Whatever you say, boss. Look, it's not like that. No, it's whatever. I was just joking before, or something. I need to get back to putting this stuff away, so... Yeah, right. Okay. I'll get out of your way. See you at home. See ya. I think he's still gonna do it. I don't think we convinced him not to do it. Either we've successfully convinced him not to do it and he's gonna resent us, or we haven't actually convinced him not to do it. Prava was waiting for me outside the door to the kiln. We exchanged no words, but as I passed her by, I stopped. I turned and gave her a nod to explain that I'd done my part. Prava looked at me for a moment before nodding in turn, quickly casting her gaze aside. I took that as my permission to leave. As I walked away, I heard the faint sound of a writing stick scratching furiously about paper. Prava writing in her notebook. I shuddered, wondering what it was she was writing, and what she would have me do next. Sorry, I went to the bathroom and missed the end of that convo. Did it get tense? I just, like... Qunari very clearly doesn't like being in the kiln. They stuck him there because of his accident, or, you know, whatever happened to his leg. And he doesn't care that the people at the kiln don't really like him. But we still insisted that he not go through with it, and he said, okay. But I'm not convinced that we've actually convinced him. Report for Sentry Duden at the garden when you're ready. All right. Let's do a quick sweep through town. Yeah, that's that. Kiln. Not now. All right. We're gonna check for some side quests, methinks. Clear out the town before we have to go back to work. Brickworks. And this is our abode. This is the courier outpost. No quests here. Nothing here. Just, I really want to know what this place is. It looks condemned, actually. Like, the windows are boarded up. It's been there for a while. What is this place? I can't speak to either of the guards. That's really weird. Can I, like, sneak in through the alley? Nope. Alright. Just no info on what that place is, but it looks important, narratively. Nothing at the depot. Anything at the clothier? Nope. It seems that the town has really stopped looking to us as a source of comfort. I mean, that's fair. We're in the middle of a famine, and we have a rather unsavory role. Last thing I can check is the library. Yeah, okay. Oh, no, sorry. The hospice is also here. Where do I get, like, petrified bone? So specific, and I don't know if I've seen it at all. All right, we're going to save. Oh my god, we have 5,000 points in our pocket here. Let's just boost all to 7. Oh, we've still got 2,000. What's the next level up here for strength? Needed 11, 12. Yeah, all right. We're looking pretty good. We've saved, and that's where we're going to end for today. It has reached that time, and this is a pretty good stopping point. We're going to be heading back down into the well. Unclear if we're going to actually be going into the well proper. That seems rather unwise, given how barely we escaped it last time. I would imagine the place is crawling with ancestors right now. It might be worth it taking, I don't know, a couple days, couple weeks, just actually doing our normal job. And so Aram is now 1v26. Is that because you leveled up or died? I think probably level up. Because we haven't died. Like, I have not died in the gameplay since 21 or whenever we were looking at it last. So I think that's probably our level up. Something like that. It is an interesting terminology, though. Aurum 1v26. That... It's very technical language, and I wonder if that was intentional. It must have been intentional, so... we're going to have to figure out what that is. But yeah, I think Aurum might be wise to just sort of take it easy for a little while, wait for things to calm down inside the well, figure out how to do a little bit of archimancy, then maybe go back? The story is hype, though. I'm excited to continue. Yeah, no, I really like this story. It's been an extremely pleasant surprise. Again, I was expecting this to be like a one-stream thing, but no, it's way deeper than that. And it's been fantastic. All right. Well, we know exactly who we're going to be raiding today. We're going to be raiding Sivari, longtime friend of the channel, who is currently in the middle of a 48-hour charity stream for Gamers Outreach. So, we're going to be, first of all, getting the raid messages out. Let's... I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to choose the happy one. I'm in a happy mood today. And then we're going to get the actual raid started. I always need to make sure I'm getting the correct C-R-E with 3 I's. Bam. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining me for another episode of A Song of Sunlight. Once again, we are deep into a really compelling world and story, and we're going even deeper next time. Probably. I don't know. Aurum will probably do it, even though it's incredibly stupid for him to do it. In any case, we're not going to be streaming next week. It's going to be a 2-week gap this time, because next week is the day that I'm going to be getting the keys to my new apartment, and that's going to be happening on Saturday, so I'm going to just be setting aside that entire day to do that. I don't know how long it's going to take. Probably not actually that long, but in case it does, I'm preemptively saying no stream next week. The next stream is going to be in 2 weeks. Same time, same place, 1 p.m. EST right here on the DJ Atomica. I hope to see you all then. If not, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful rest of your week, and as always, stay true to yourselves, everyone.